It's that time of the month, ban list time! And if you were thinking what I thought you were, shame on you. But seriously though, it is my time of the month, so be careful everyone. So everyone seems to have their own predictions, opinions, and wish lists on what they think should be banned, limited, and what should be removed altogether. Being the new kid on the block of the Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube community, I thought, why not? I'll make my own opinions, wish lists, so let's get going. For the ban list, number 86 Heroic Champion. Ugh. I'll admit I was not aware of this card until I went against it at my locals recently. My reaction, along with everyone else, was, how can this card exist? Why will Konami create a card that prevents the game from being played? With a little research, I discovered that number 86 has existed since 2015. So I asked, how could this card have been allowed to roam free for so long? Well, you see, at the time, number 86's third effect was a win condition requiring getting 4 or more monsters out to be used as material. And this was pretty difficult at the time of its release, so if not many duelists was playing number 86, then why even bother banning it? But today's format is different, and setting up the conditions is much easier. So I am with everyone on this. Load number 86 into a cannon and shoot him into the sun. And if that doesn't happen, well... Summon Sorceress. This is another card I cannot imagine why it would be allowed to exist, and unlike number 86, I don't think this card has an excuse. A card that allows you to special summon almost any monster from your deck is just stupid crazy, and the fact that it's fairly easy to get out just makes it ripe for abuse. The OCG has had Summon Sorceress banned for quite a while, so I think it's about time for the TCG to catch up. Summon Sorceress is one which I think no one will complain about being burned to the stake. Soul Charge. I'll admit I do have a sore spot for this card. The fact that you can only have one makes it all the more fun and satisfying when you do get to use it and run havoc. And while I've had fun with this card, during the rare time I've been able to draw it, I really do think it's time for Soul Charge to get banned. It really is an unfair card, and having it limited to one just isn't enough to rein in its carnage, because you can still use combos like Foolish Burial Goods with Feather of the Phoenix or Magical Stone Excavation to get it quicker. So yeah, it's been fun, Soul Charge, but it's time for you to retire. Off to the land of ghosts and whispers you go. Number 42, Galaxy Tomahawk. I think this card should have been banned as soon as Link monsters began to take hold, because number 42 is essentially a Link monster factory. The fact that your opponent cannot take any battle damage the turn its effect is activated is irrelevant, because once you use the tokens to build your insane board, it won't matter, because if your board is filled right away with Link monsters or even extra linked, your opponent is just going to end up scooping anyway. And I don't think that's fun. Once a card has the ability to prevent the game from being played, it has to go. So number 42 can go straight to the scrap heap. Topologic Gumbler Dragon. It's a Link monster with 4 Link arrows. That's enough for me, but having an effect that can once again prevent your opponent from playing the game by getting rid of their cards without being able to draw a new hand, something even Trickstar Reincarnation will allow you to do, has to go. And combine this card with the combos that Aqua Dolphin can do in the current format, there's only one thing I recommend for a Gumbler Dragon.
Fire! And lots of it.
Armageddon Night! Because it's Armageddon Night. What else do I need to say?
It's a monster! Kill it! Kill it!
Borreload and Borrelsword Dragons. Okay, I know from a format standpoint, these will not get banned. This is just my personal feelings talking here. These dragons cause people to cry every time they come out, including myself. And getting them out really isn't overly difficult anymore. While I would love for these dragons to bite the dust, I know it just won't happen. This is just me venting here, but on a realistic note, I think they should at least be limited to one, These cards are so OP and they just end games. Having at least a fighting chance against these guys would be fair at least. As for limited, I think Sky Striker and Altergeist need to take a hit. They've been free to run wild long enough, and stubbing their toes should at least slow them down a bit. The obvious cards I think that should be limited to 1 are Kagari, Sky Striker Engage, and Altergeist Multi-Faker. Sky Strikers have taken hits before and has not slowed them down, so I don't think this hit would damage it too much. And on a personal level, I don't have too much animosity against Sky Strikers because if I play my Chaos Max deck, I am able to put up a decent fight. Though I will admit to having a little PTSD from Altergeist because I've had bad luck in facing those decks. There was only 3 Altergeist decks at the OTS Championship and I had to go against all 3 of them. Sorry, that's become sort of a joke with me. Another card I think that should be limited is Scapegoat. Basically for the same reason as Tomahawk, it's a Link Monster Factory, but unlike Tomahawk, the tokens need to survive 1 turn before you can abuse them. So I think this card should be limited to 1. Sorry all you Scapegoat fans.
I thought you loved me. Loved me.
More that I think that should be knocked down to 1 is Gold Sarcophagus, Necroface, Brilliant Fusion, and Trickstar Reincarnation. You would think Gold Sarcophagus is only problematic in Thunder Dragons, however with Banish-themed decks like Grand Manju gaining popularity, Necroface and Trickstar Reincarnation can create combos that just ends games. If Gold Sarcophagus, Necroface, and Trickstar Reincarnation do not take a hit, the Grand Manju at least should. Brilliant Fusion to me borderlines a need to be banned. However, seeing that it can only be used once per turn, knocking it down to 1 should limit the damage this card causes. I have not gone against Brilliant Fusion personally, but the cries I hear from across the room tells me that it causes a lot of pain. Being able to dump any monster you want to the grave to start a chain reaction is, yeah, that's pretty busted. If Foolish Brew is limited to 1, then yeah, so should Brilliant Fusion. Sayuja's Skull Dread. This is another card I think borderlines a need to be banned. But if not banned, it should at least be limited to 1. I'm not against draw power, not at all, but the ability to draw 4 cards is insane, and you don't even discard the other 3, they just go to the bottom of your deck, which we all know doesn't last long due to the searching and shuffling effects other cards give you. I don't really see this card in play much anymore, but with Savage Strike on the horizon, that could very well change. When it comes to a semi-limited list, I can't think of anything offhand that needs an immediate change, and I'm trying to get this video done before the list drops. But when it comes to getting some cards off the list, I do think Chaos Emperor Dragon should be unbanned and set to at least 1. Thanks to the errata, that card isn't as broken as it used to be. I have heard people speculate that Cyber Jar should be set to 1, which I personally have mixed feelings about because while it is true that no one uses flip effects anymore, the effect, however, if pulled off, just sets up the board to be spammed like crazy. I can already see how this can break a Blue Eyes deck. And one card I don't think that needs to be banned anymore is Final Countdown because, let's be real here, who has ever seen a duel in today's format reach 20 turns anymore? Well, that's it for my views for the upcoming ban list. It was both opinion and wish list and just having a little bit of fun. What we will actually see, well, I guess we'll find out when it drops. So this has been your Dragon Lady, and remember, be a good sport, play the game, not the fame. Thanks for watching everyone. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe and click on the little bell for notifications. You can also check me out on Facebook. Link is in the description below. Happy dueling! Knocking it down to 1 should limit the damage this card causes. There's a dog in the background.